Okay, all right. I said I would go live and it took me a minute, but I'm doing it. I also said I would get online a little bit more often. And so I'm setting up my live on a few other screens because I know the last time I did this, many of you tried to join, and I think I did a 50-minute live and didn't even realize there was no sound. So I'm going to apologize in advance if for some reason I don't see your comments or you can't hear me. Hopefully you can. I'm currently live on multiple Facebooks and my Instagram and my StreamYard, which goes to some YouTube accounts. So somewhere in this, this will record properly, and hopefully I'll be able to interact because I would love to be able to do that as well. So, hey everybody, today's date is, let's check, Thursday, May 28th, 2026. And of course, this is Marlana here for a Marlana moment. And I guess I'll say it's a little bit of an update. I normally would be doing a lot more professionally. I'd normally be doing a lot more personally in interactions and conversations and, various different interactions, but I've been pretty, I would say, in a state of reflection and also just focus lately. Last week was my baby girl's last week of school, last week of 6th grade. And based on all reports I can see, congratulations to her as she completed the 6th grade. I'm excited, so proud of her. She's continued to really fight hard and be an AB honor roll student. And she has done that while overcoming many consistent challenges. And already I do see someone is watching, and I can't say who you are, so I apologize, but welcome. Glad you're here. If you want to drop a comment in the chat, I may see your comment, and it'd be great to see you and interact. But she did. She finished her 6th grade year, and many who are watching me understand that I am going through quite a bit in regards to, just a focused fight for freedom for my children, namely, definitely my daughter. And when I say freedom, I mean freedom from challenges that are and have been threatening life and death. How's that? Many of you also know that I am in the midst of not actually active custody litigation, because I'm not. There was a final trial in October of 2025. I am in the middle of pending appeal litigation, which means that custody case, I see some more of you that are popping up on my screens, and I can't see any of you. So maybe if you, there you go, I see one. Hey, sir, good to see you. Sometimes I might see a wave that you came up. I just saw someone that came up. If you want to send a message, then I'll probably see your comments. But other than that, on StreamYard, I haven't figured that out. And quite frankly, my StreamYard chat is blocked by other devices. So, hey, good to see you, Nicholas. Glad you're here, sir. I was just explaining how you would think that I have this down in terms of going live and interacting, and I don't yet. So hopefully I'll get there at some point. I think I've done a little bit better on YouTube because that's a little bit of a clearer path. StreamYard, Facebook's, Instagram, they all work differently. So I'll get there one day, but today I'm just going live with an update. So anyways, I am not in, hey Ginger, good to see you, love. Okay, it's working. I can see some of y'all. This is exciting, yay. Like I said, I'm not in active custody litigation. I am in active appeals court. I am pro se, which means self-represented, which means I am my own counsel, my own attorney, my own representative. That means even though I'm not an attorney and I do not play one on TV, I do not also give legal advice. Y'all know the drill. It means I have to take the time to research, to study as if I were one, as if I had a license, and I do not. And really make sure that everything that I am presenting and interacting is factually sound, it's correct, it's based on facts, evidence, and law, and then I got to put it into formats that they can understand, and sometimes that's citations and sometimes case law, various different things. Like there's formats, y'all, there's just dynamics, and definitely the appeals court is very different than filing into trial court. And so this is something that's new to me, even though I've been in that fight for freedom from, I'll just say, abuses of power, domestic and systemic, for my children, for our family since 2013. And so it is another level of complexities. I could say definitely Fifth Court of Appeal. They're very professional. Found them to be a very fair process. If there's something wrong, they typically let you know and give you an opportunity to fix it. And so doing the best that I can, but I'm not in active custody litigation. And I want to say that because, as I mentioned, my daughter was finishing her last week of school last week. Again, I can't say too much. Ultimately, I'll get to this in a minute. I notice in this day and time, I'm being watched by a lot of people that are tuning in and minding my business. Y'all, some from when my youngest son was in school for months, just looking in every day. You know, kind of makes you wonder, are they looking in for someone or for someone's, or just watching on their own? I reach out and, oh, just always loved y'all, even though you hated me. That doesn't really accurately express what happened when my child was being entered into this person's care. But if that's their favorite reference, everyone's entitled to one. But have a lot of people that are looking in. I don't think a lot of people know this. Facebook didn't always allow you to see the people that watch your stories, but they do now. They allow you to see your followers and your friends as well as your non-followers. So yes, we can see you. Hi. And so there's been a lot of interesting activity on my social media lately. Obviously, as I'm dealing with, again, my daughter, trying to get her to a safe, sane, happy place. And no, that does not mean she's crazy or mentally ill. I want to make sure that I express that clearly. She is fine in terms of her capacity. She's human, and anyone under the stress of bullying, under the stress of home dynamics that are less than healthy, under the stress of having safe, healthy, loving parents and family members ripped from them unjustly, there's going to be effects. And so all of that said, dealing with that dynamic in the appeals court right now. If there were other things going on, I got to be careful in how much I share. So I'm not getting into that too much in this live, but just know it is for a custody case. It's also for a protective order case. And so I'm managing 2 appeals. In the meantime, let's just assume there's other dynamics going on that are massive and taking full-time energy pertaining to her. I'm dealing with that too, in between doctors, in between school, in between other dynamics. Actively dealing with police department refusing to turn over records that I have right to. Apparently they are so terrified by what happened not too long ago with my daughter that they would rather claim on paper and through the city attorneys that there's an active open investigation when multiple officers, including head of criminal investigations, have said there is no active investigation. But I guess when you're an attorney and you have money in your city and you have the powers of the state, you could say whatever you want to the Attorney General of Texas and see if he buys it. So I'm dealing with that as well. And then, of course, still dealing with the dynamics twofold with my son, Josh. I continue to post about him. You all continue to see I'm not giving up on Mariah. I'm not giving up on Josh. Hey, good to see y'all. I'm not sure which one of you it is, but I see you on there. Family, good to see you. But it's twofold. Y'all, there is never going to be a time that I agree that the truth surrounding my son's passing is irrelevant. Just get over it. He's in heaven now. It doesn't matter. And I guess I would say to those that have gone through it, if that's what they were able to do or you're able to do, like, kudos to you. But as a mom, you have to understand this is twofold. Part of it is I was with my son 2 weeks before he passed, right? And he disclosed some things to me that did not make the death notification call and the first representation that I got odd. I actually didn't need the investigator or the lieutenant, I should say, to finish telling me quote unquote, what happened, because my son told me what was getting ready to happen or what was going on after 2.5 years, 2 weeks prior on a family weekend getaway. That is concerning with what did happen when he decided to choose for himself. I want to spend time with family. I don't want to continue to work 5 jobs on my spring break weekend. I want to take a 3-day break. And 2 weeks later, I get conflicting reports. And so there's a whole slew of different things that don't make sense. There's a whole slew of different things that, based on their local protocol, were absolutely diametrically opposed to what they did for another person that was found, that they immediately humanized, that they've continued to humanize a year later. Hey, good to see you, love. I will text you. I know we're supposed to be connecting and getting together, so great to see you on. But ultimately, you know, I guess you never really know what you're going to do until it actually happens to you, until it's your actual family member, and until you're actually wrestling with what were the circumstances like. Cry out. Did they want help? Were they shocked? And did they feel like, I hope somebody's coming for me. I hope someone cares. I hope someone's going to fight for me, because this is so wrong. And again, based on the conversations we had 2 weeks prior to him passing, and just knowing my son, being very close with my children, I don't believe he would say, Mom, just let it go. I'm fine. Don't ask any questions. It doesn't matter. And then there's the second fold part. Y'all, I am the blessed mother of 5 children. Yes, 1 being my angel son. And then I still have 4 surviving children. And I'm sure you can only imagine that sometimes it's not just what we do, but it's also what we fail to do that tells people all they need to know about how they can treat you, how they can treat your family, how they can maneuver through this life, either with or without consequence. And so if after all of this, and blatant, again, let's just start with different stories where they didn't even care to take a few minutes to say, are we going to agree he was suspended and hanging and had to be cut down, or he laid peacefully into the abyss with his feet always on the ground? When the same police department, y'all, can't even get that detail right, and they're in conflict with themselves, if it ever happened to one of your loved ones, I think you would understand the difficulty in accepting what happened to your loved one. And so as a mom, back to the dangers, not only just for my son and his dignity and value of life, but for my 4 living children, a daughter that is currently at risk, a son that has gone through many risks. When people understand there is no consequences, nobody will care, nobody's coming, nobody's going to stick and stay for the long game of truth and justice. If you just knock off this person or their family members, that is a very dangerous message to send, don't you think? It's been said, we teach people how to treat us. And so when they perceive this person doesn't have a lot of family support, this person doesn't have a lot of financial resources, this person doesn't have a lot of capacity, right? They're fighting for another child. They're having to take care of this. They're having to take care of that. They will be exhausted. They will be drained. Any human person would wear out by now. When we validate that for people and say, yeah, it doesn't matter if you end the life of this particular woman's child, because nobody's coming. Not immediately, not 6 months in, not a year in, not 2 years in, not ever. So you can get away with literal murder. I think many of you can understand why it's a very, very dangerous precedent for me to set for my remaining children. Now, here's what I want to say, and what keeps me sane from being a vigilante and from staying just in a place of still law-abiding, still safe, lawful, legal, and appropriate. Mostly, I would say, in my right mind. There's going to be other people that will try to spin that and say, no, not necessarily. And there's other people that will say, with all that she's gone through and all she's going through, she's doing amazing. Thankfully, I don't look for my reports from man. And if they're not truthful, they lose even more credibility. It doesn't really matter. We focus on facts, and typically that will close the lion's mouth. But the reason I'm able to stay sane while navigating all of these complications, and then I'll be honest, there's the other part of, let's just say, matters still need to be finalized. There still needs to be rest. There still needs to be healing. But before that, truth. So it's a whole nother situation, legal situation, along with law enforcement trying to conceal things that happened with my daughter and the appeals and trial court level things that, oh, by the way, I had great reports from the appellate court yesterday, and next day, the trial court seems to believe that she controls the appeals justices. Now, anyone that wants to do their legal research, you can come back and tell me in the comments how you think that goes, but there is a clear hierarchy and structure under law that says that one is more powerful than the other. But it's quite interesting, and it leads us to ask questions of why a trial court judge might be panicked that an appellate court judge says, yeah, we want to see the entire record that you reference in your final orders that she's appealing. Why not? If it's solid, let's put it out there, because that's what we do when we're reviewing the record. But anyways, in the midst of that, I'll just say that I made a post earlier today that said, I truly believe at some point, somehow, some way, the truth will come out. I've had people in Oklahoma tell me that they know, they plural, meaning at least 3 people from this person that told me, know that my son didn't hurt himself, and that clearly it was someone else. Did they follow up and want to tell me what they know? Of course not. And oftentimes, different cultures and dynamics that need to protect themselves and those they're more comfortable with, that's unfortunately a regular, normal thing. Doesn't mean it's healthy, doesn't mean it's ethical, doesn't mean it's moral, doesn't mean it's humane. It means that in certain parts of the country, like southeastern Oklahoma, apparently it's a thing. And so here's what I know. If I'm randomly talking to someone and they tell me they know within their own family that my child didn't harm himself, again, in contradiction with the contradicting police reports, then I also said on social media earlier today that I truly believe that someone, somewhere, somehow, some way is going to find the courage, the integrity, the character to do the right thing. And I'll just say, without giving it away, God continues to reveal stuff to me that I'm not even looking for, y'all. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of people watching me right now. I'll just say, with the last hour on the clock, they revealed, even relating to my son, someone pretty high in power is watching what I'm saying and what I'm doing. I'm going to reach out so we can have a conversation. I don't like the whole stalking, snooping thing. I'm pretty direct. I don't bite. People can just have a conversation. Like, there's no need to watch me. Like, if there's something you need to say, reach out, say, hey, Marlana, I found you. Let's talk. I'll respond. So anyhow, what that means to me is that God is working, but what that means in terms of an update and reality of what's going on is that a lot of people say, hey, family comes first, right? People say that, hey, you need to take care of you. Hey, you need to just breathe. But we just got to understand that with that, the reality of what comes with that is that while you are, yes, fighting for the life and death of your children and your family, as honorable as it may be, doesn't pay the bills. As honorable as it may be, courts, literally, even those that are frustrating you, law enforcement powers that are frustrating you, maybe child protective services, school districts, and anyone else that are frustrating you, they don't care that you're doing the noble thing that only you can do as a parent. I don't know that I finished what I was saying, but I was saying the reason that I'm able to keep my sanity, I probably did say that, is I know that God's in control. I know at the end of the day, anything that anyone tries to bring to me or the rest of my children, they're actually not fighting us. I do truly believe that they have God to answer to for what was done to Josh, for what is continuously being done to Mariah. In the midst of this, not to tell too much of his business, I've also been dealing with another one of my sons that is dealing with employment retaliation because he did the right thing. Yet another legal battle that I'm fighting. So y'all, if you got to be a fly on the wall and watch my 24/7 right now, you would think that I was a small boutique or a rather large law firm that's doing everything from employment law to family law to murder / suicide / what actually happened and trying to just spend time and be available, and also have moments where, yes, this past weekend I got a chance to go to 2 women's events, one that I got to be an attendee, one that I got to serve, and be able to help make happen. And of course, I do have a couple of group meetings that I orchestrate that are business related each week, and those are a nice break from the crazy. I do also believe that there's a greater moment that is occurring right now where God is exposing truth. I really believe that. I believe there's divine intervention going on in and around the places where I'll just say I live, and around the places that impact my children. I think there's a lot of things brewing that are not coincidence. And I trust him. I trust that ultimately none of this that is occurring is for no reason. None of it is occurring because, oh my God, she made such bad choices with drugs and alcohol and abuse and neglect and family violence and mental health and neglect and fill in the blanks. Like, none of this is happening because of any of that. I know that sometimes we can forget that sometimes people can be going through a really, 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 really hard time because there's greater impact on the other side. And maybe there's people and there's forces that don't want them to make it to the other side. I fully and totally know that's what's going on in our family situation. I also fully and totally know we're going to get there anyways. But I also know that for those that are men and women of faith, people of faith, we know that we're hands and feet. We know that a lot of us have heard, help bear your brother's burdens, sisters' burdens, whomever. Help bear the burdens of others if you can. And so I'm sharing all of this just in a moment of, again, raw transparency and authenticity to just say, can I do all of this myself? Continue to maintain, continue to pay bills while I'm doing unpaid legal work that I'm not even qualified to do, but yet here I am, probably not. And if all of a sudden the work that you do every day, the normal life that you live, got impacted by having to chase down 8 different legal tracks for which you're not trained, showing up for children, grandchildren that still need you in day-to-day life as they're going through, as they're healing from dynamics, as they're just needing your presence, because maybe you're one of 2 or one of very few, or maybe just one that they have to count on. If you could even imagine what that would look like, it's not a sob story. Under legal definition, are we victims? Yes. Do I feel like a victim? No, I feel like a survivor and an overcomer. I feel like a child of God, a daughter of the King, who ultimately, the other part where I stay calm is I realize that my children are God's before they're even mine. And what that means is that there is nothing that has happened or will happen that he doesn't know, see, and or allow. Now, let me break this down. I know this is going to be hard for a lot of people that are dealing with pain that they're wanting to end. And my heart goes out to you because I feel the same way. Does that mean that God causes the pains that us and our children, our families are going through? I don't believe that. I believe that there is a God in heaven. I call him Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, that gives every human being something called free will. I believe in his sovereignty. That was the way that he set it up. Don't know why. Maybe I'll ask him when I get to heaven. Not planning to go there anytime soon, by the way. I'm not suicidal, not homicidal, not running, have no criminal allegations, no crimes that I've committed, no warrants, no reason that I should be going to jail, or definitely would not fight police. So that disclaimer is there as well. Maybe I'll ask him when I get there. Hopefully at some point in time, much, much later in the future, I'll ask him. Not because I have the right to question God and he owes me any answer, but just out of curiosity, God, why did we give everybody free will to do really bad things? I don't know. But I guess maybe when I create my own world and my own humans live in it, I guess I get to scrutinize that decision and those questions and answers. Right now, I can wonder like you. But what I can also know is that when there were years that I was forced away to protect my lawful safety and life so I could be here to fight another day for my children, because yes, my survival is also paramount to continuing to stay in the fight as a personal representative, as their mom, as someone that can't be replaced no matter how much others feel like they can. One thing that I know is when I couldn't be there, God continued to keep them, Josh included. And that meant that while I was believing for over 5 years that we'd be restored into relationship and time together, he delivered, and we got that. And I was blessed. I came back, I want to say it was 2020. Yeah. Came back in 2020, at least to my children, maybe not publicly to the entire world. That didn't happen until I resolved legal matters 2022. But I got a chance to spend 5 good years with Josh before he went home. And I'm grateful for that time. Did it mean I lost 5 years? I did. Everyone just went to graduations for their high school students. Those are still happening across the country because of injustice, the same injustice I'm fighting for my daughter now that I was fighting for my son and my daughter then. It took me away from even being able to be present. My pastor, I believe, was the only adult representative that showed up for Josh for his graduation. And that was because people were attached to their lies and their injustice and their corruption. And I was trying to protect Joshua's baby sister and myself because, unfortunately, though there are system people that are paid well to do so, they opted not to. It's unfortunate. Y'all pray for them. A lot of them still have power to this day. A lot of them I'm in contact with to this day. That could be everything from, again, judges to appellate justice to DAs to cops to whomever, administrators, anyone attached to my children. Y'all pray for them, that people will get a sense of character and responsibility and courage and integrity to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, regardless if it might affect their comfy, regardless if it might affect their money, their political or their power standing. Y'all, we are at a place and point in time where people have got to do better. We've got to get out of this community apathy that if it's not happening to me and mine directly, it doesn't matter enough for me to do anything. We have to get out of that, because the consequence of that for the people that are only really thinking about those closest to them and their immediate family is it's not you today. It may not be your closest loved one today, but if it's allowed to continue, it's only a matter of a time. What affects one affects all. I think we all know that by now. If we don't, maybe we need some history lessons. If not, maybe we just need some faith lessons, right? I'm not going to go off on that tangent, but I'm going to say let's just continue to pray that people that can and should do the right thing, that they start to. That they don't have a wishbone, that they grab a backbone and get in the fight for what is right. Because people's lives are hanging in the balance because of it, waiting on it. And God works through people. He partners with us all. And so with that said, I just want to let you all know that I'll drop links in the chat. I had a friend that recommended a couple months back that I just put all of my Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, different ways to give, donate on all of my posts. If you enjoy my content, please do that. And I haven't been doing the greatest at that. I know a lot of people do. Yeah, I'm not doing this for content. Stuff that I post on a daily basis, I'm not doing it for content. I'm doing it because I know that there's a danger in isolation, and I do still desire community. I don't think I should have to suffer in silence because you don't tell people your business. Well, if I had people, I will say that I do have a couple, right? Maybe a few. But I guess if I had a massive network in private to process through all of this with, I probably feel different. And again, many of us, we're at different levels of support and resources to handle things the way that we can. Others may not be so greatly resourced, blessed, and covered. And so our reaching out, letting people know what's going on, being authentic, being transparent is, yes, genuine ask for prayer for those that are praying for, Y'all, whether I say anything or not, the ones praying against me are going to be doing that, right? But the ones that genuinely, and I want to say again, thank you to all of you out there that'll watch the replay that maybe you're watching right now. I saw someone else pop up. And again, I know I'm missing probably many of you. How do people know what to pray for if you don't say anything? How do people know what's really going on and how much the pressure is real if you don't communicate? Nobody's a mind reader. And I don't particularly care to uphold an image that's perfect where you just don't say anything. I think it's superficial. I think most people, if we get real, are tired of that. And I think most people don't believe that the ones that act like they have it all together really do anyways. Those of us that have lived life a little bit longer or just a little bit more authentically and honestly with all kinds of people, we know whether people are talking about it or not, everybody's going through something. And just because people smile and they look pretty and they stay professional and they don't mention anything personal, we know they still have stuff. We know whether they're honest about it and tell either way. I'm thankful that God hasn't given me an obsession with my image to worry about what people think when I share what's happening in my real world, in my real life, in my positively real situation and set of dynamics. What I can say is anyone that would be judging me and my family for what we're going through, trust I'm human. I probably have a judgment about them too for judging people that are going through the things that we are. So again, it doesn't really matter. I live for an audience of one. If God's okay with me, quite frankly, I'm satisfied. I really am. Do I want people to like me? Sure. Do I care if they don't? Nope. Used to be super concerned with people pleasing and what will they think of me and who will stand with me and who will support me. You know, what I have learned in these last couple of years is that the people that are for me, they're going to be for me and with me regardless. Regardless. And I also know that's going to be seasonal. They're going to be people when maybe it fits a particular agenda they're working on. They're going to be right there. And when that agenda switches and moves to something else, then guess what? They won't be, which is part of why I also stopped worrying about what people are thinking, because I realize that life and the people in our lives oftentimes are literally but a mere vapor. Do I like that reality? No. I was that kid growing up, and I'm probably still a little bit of that adult, that relationships do matter. So I was that child that anytime we went to a airport, I was crying when people were coming. I was crying when people were going, probably more on the going, the saying goodbye, all of that. You know, I was that kid that even if I was mad at my parents who just punished me, you wouldn't know it beyond the hour because I didn't want to be in the room by myself. So I may have been mad at them, and I'm never going to talk to them again. And that would last literally for an hour. And then it's like, okay, how's everybody doing? And so I don't know. I don't prefer relational separation, but I've also grown peace in knowing that, quite frankly, if God is all that I have in the moment, He is all that I need. But I also know and believe that we were created for community. I know that isolation is a very dangerous place to be when we're going through, which is why I'm intentional not to do that for every reason in the world that I could. But I also know that there's a lot of people that are watching me. They're not stalking. They're not intel gathering. Many of you tell me you're being inspired. And again, I'm honored. I'm humbled. And what I'm also told is that when we speak honestly, authentically, transparently, we give other people permission and strength to do the same. So if I got to go through it, I might as well go through it in such a way that it is able to bless others, right? Help others, not just go through the tunnel in the dark by myself, wondering, am I going to ever go out? Woe is me. Might as well be a light for others, right? Or maybe there's some things that have already made it out on the other side to say, hey, it seems like you're never going to be reunited with your children again. It seems like you'll never get through certain battles. It seems like you'll never start to gain ground. Well, if I have at least come that far, I can say, hey, that's not true. After 8 years, the reunion happened. 8 years, y'all. I was counting how many days it's been since I've been with my baby girl or with my sons too. And I know how painful it is. So again, to all of you that are going through, I haven't seen them in X number of hundreds of days, or even thousands of days, or X number of years, or this many birthdays, this many holidays. Y'all know I did that for at least 8. And sadly, the last time I was able to be with all 5 of my children was 2016. I want to say that was Mother's Day. I think it was. It's either Easter or Mother's Day. Not sure. I'll come back to you. It was one of those two. And it was our last time together. It was interesting. We were actually in a grocery store, and my kids, they were talking, laughing, giving each other a hard time, just being siblings. And I can't really explain it, but it was almost as if God was telling me, Marlana, this might be the last time. I talked a couple of days ago about getting a heads up that a friend and business partner just automatically started thinking about him for some reason, and actually almost reached out to call and text, and I didn't. And then I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day and saw a post that he had passed. Had been fighting a battle with cancer for many years, and finally his time on this earth was no more. So again, condolences to his family. I lost my mom at 49 years young to cancer. From what I understand and remember, doctors missed it for 2 years of the 5 that she fought. I was still in my early 20s, y'all. I was in my second marriage, had my 3 boys from my first marriage. My former husband and father of my youngest son had 2 from his first marriage. He was 7 years older than me. So we had our 5, and then, of course, we had ours together, my youngest son. Thank you so much. I appreciate that love. And with that, yeah, I lost her at a young age. Y'all, and what it reminds me is that life is short. It is valuable. It is not to be wasted. Most of the things we worry about, most of the people we worry about, does it even really matter when this life is over? I beg to differ with anyone that says that it does, because I guarantee you when you're facing those last hours, losing someone like a mom or a parent that you love, all these other people and other things don't matter. When your children are literally ripped from your breast, like literally ripped from your embrace, unjustly, unlawfully, to be put in harm's way and danger, it doesn't matter. All the other people, all the other things. When you get cops pounding on your door, and then finally you Google the areas of your children and you realize there was a body found, and then you connect 2 and 2 and you realize, wait a minute, they're here to tell me that body belongs to me, my baby. None of these people and none of these cares of life matter in those moments. And while I'm not thankful for any of those losses, with my mother, with my son, with my daughter, when I went through it with my youngest son, in different varying degrees of the ebbs and flows of relationships with now my children that are spanning the ages of 12 to 31, right? You'll know there's dynamics in that too. What I can tell you is when the people that are closest to you, the lives that matter most, when they're coming and going, you could give 2 flying flips about other people on social media, at your job, that you work with in business. It doesn't mean they don't matter. It means they don't matter most. They still matter. But at some point in time, I think we all have those people that matter most. I don't think that means that we ignore the people around us that have some level of closeness in our lives. And certainly, if there is that regular, consistent connection that's beyond a job that you have to be at, but you're actually choosing to interact with those people, hopefully you're trying to figure out, how can I do something to contribute if there is an unbelievable weight that they are going through but they're still pushing through for you. Hopefully you're also saying, hey, what can I do? Even if it's small, right? Asking them, what does that look like? And then being willing to stretch just a little bit. Is that mandatory? No. But then also understand it's not mandatory for people to keep giving their energy and their time and their focus and their effort to people that aren't willing to be that uncomfortable and do that either. Kind of goes both ways. So, all that said, I appreciate social media for the support that it provides for people that otherwise may not have a person to talk to, as they are constantly forced to fight day and night, whether it's to keep the bills paid, continue to support children, continue to fight legal battles they're not qualified to fight, or fill in the blanks, right? Maybe there's health issues we haven't even talked to people about. Maybe there's health issues we don't even know about. Maybe the fact that we can't address certain health issues is a burden. We all have our stuff, right? I'm not the only one. You're not the only one. So I just hope that we are taking some time to think, you know, what can I do to help lighten someone's load if I'm able, in whatever way that I can, while I still can. Hopefully we're not all just focused on me, myself, and I. And that's not just for me, that's for anyone. And I think that I demonstrate and have demonstrated since 2013 that I'm willing to stop and do that for other people. And again, I'm appreciative to all of those that have done the same for me. To those of you that just watch me as if this is a reality TV series, get help. I don't know what else to say. Get help. It's actually quite disturbing. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. But not going to stop reaching out and connecting and doing what I'm doing for you either. So I guess if your obsession is watching me and not talking and not speaking, well then, hey, glad I can provide some type of meaning in life for you. Yeah, so I am going to probably shut this down. I don't have an angle. I don't have content creation I'm trying to monetize. I don't have branding. I have my authenticity, my transparency, my real, positively real life and pressures and stressors, and also why, if I'm not reaching out and doing so much or answering calls or text, I don't have the capacity to have personal conversations about what happened, what's happening, what was happening the last time we talked. Understand that that is growing, and now it is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times greater, the pressures and the timelines. So I'm not going to always be in the place of wanting to talk about it. I will try to schedule some more of these so that people have time to prepare. I'll try to do them earlier where it's not 11 o'clock at night. Maybe people can tap in and then just comment in the chat. I don't have to call everyone's name out, but definitely group time is about all that I have right now. Not so much independent one-on-one time. And I'm sure that you guys can understand and respect that. So I trust and hope you all are doing well and all the things that you are walking through and facing and fighting through and winning and challenged with and overcoming in day-to-day life. Definitely know that I'm also praying for you all. I'm cheering you on. I'm encouraging you. I am celebrating you. Those that are continuing to share their posts and their vulnerability as well, thank you. It gives encouragement, again, to others just like me. So with that, I will try to get back online as soon as possible and have another Marlana moment in community chat. And yeah, look forward to connecting with you all at that time. Meantime, thanks for joining, whether you're live or on the replay. And yeah, look forward to talking with y'all again soon. Y'all take care. Bye.